What's going on, guys? Tony Maritato here. So in this video tutorial, I'm going to take you through the credentialing process and the various situations, whether you're a sole proprietor, you're a physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, just looking to get started without a corporation, with a corporation. And basically, I'm going to show you a chart put out by one of the fiscal intermediaries that shows you exactly how all of this stuff comes together and how you make your decision on what credentialing you're going to do. So let's share my screen and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Right here, this is Novitas. Novitas is a MAC covering Arizona, Colorado, a bunch of different states, Texas. Under their enrollment tab, they have this enroll, change, opt-out section. And within this, if you come down here, which enrollment forms do I need to complete? That's probably one of the main questions that we get all the time. I love this chart. I've never seen this chart on any of the other provider websites. And so what you've got here is you've got an individual, sole proprietor, not incorporated. They're going to do the 855I and the 588. The 588 is just your electronic funds transfer. That's so you can receive payments direct deposit. The 855I is the application that gets you your individual PTAN. PTAN is your Medicare provider number. And so if we jump into this link so we can see what that looks like, it says here, Medicare enrollment instructions, individual or sole proprietor not incorporated. So if I'm looking to maintain my full-time position and I want to start treating a couple Medicare beneficiaries on the side, but I don't want to get bogged down with creating a new corporation, getting a tax ID, doing all this other stuff. I'm not hiring any staff clinicians, staff admin. It's just me. I just want to treat 1 or 2 patients on the side. Maybe I'm going to do 10, 20 visits a month, and I want to get the ball rolling. This would be the way you get credentialed. And so it goes through an individual or non-physician practitioner. That's physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech. In Part B, treating Medicare beneficiaries. Basically, you're using your Social Security number instead of a tax ID. You obtain an individual MPI, which you probably have already, a Type 1 MPI, before you begin enrolling in Medicare. A sole proprietor is an individual who operates their practice as a business that is not incorporated. A sole proprietor enrolls with the Social Security number. You can get an employer identification number, but it's not necessary. An EIN must be obtained if the sole proprietor wants to receive reassignment benefits. Basically, if you're looking at having other clinicians work for you, yes, you need to have an EIN. If you don't plan on having anyone else work for you, you don't need it. You just use your Social Security number. Sole proprietor must obtain the MPI for themselves, your own Type 1 MPI, before enrolling with Medicare. There's no separate NPI for a sole proprietor. And basically you're going to complete, preferably through PCOS, the 855I, the CMS 588, which is your electronic funds transfer. The 460 is to decide whether you want to be participating or non-participating. There's pros and cons to both. I'll publish a separate video on kind of a comparison chart of pro and con for participating, non-participating. You'll still have to do your EDI forms. This is a great little Medicare reference guide. If you're going to mail in your forms, if you're not doing PCOS, this is information on that. Let me jump out here. So if we're looking at physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, great little kind of handy dandy tool. Let me click on that. And so this takes you through, so a qualified PT for a program, coverage purposes, a person who's licensed as a physical therapist by the state, practicing meets one of the following requirements. Where you graduated, date you graduated, 2 years of appropriate experience as a physical therapist, and has achieved. So remember, where is it here? Meets one of the following requirements. One of the requirements. So that's that. Enrollment. Oh, we don't need any of that. Let me jump down here. So like enrollment as an OT, right? It's what you just saw. This was what I clicked on for PT. This is for OT, graduated from a curriculum jointly accredited by the committee. Or, because remember, you have to meet one of the following criteria. Everybody watching this is going to be graduated by an accredited body, so I wouldn't worry about that. All right. Let's jump back to this chart. So that is a sole proprietor looking for basically a side gig, not going to get into corporations. Now, if you're going to do a corporation, same exact stuff. 855I, 588 for direct deposit. You're going to do your 460 if you're going to be par or non-par. The one that's interesting is now when we get into clinic or group practice. And the difference here, the main difference for clinic or group practice. A clinic group practice established when individuals are employed, contracted, and reassigned Medicare benefits, allowing the clinic group to submit claims and receive payment for their services. Clinic group practice have more than one owner. Now this isn't always a requirement, but if you know that you're going to have more than one owner, like my wife and I, we're both PTs, we own the practice jointly. We created the group to employ other physical therapists with the possibility of bringing in other partners. Certainly that's when you're looking at a group practice. The enrollment process here, let me jump back just a minute. This is where you would create the 855B to get the group a PTAN, an individual PTAN for the group, for the business. You would do 855R for anybody working who reassigns their benefits to the group. This could be owners or employees. You're going to have your 588 again for your direct deposit. On a reassignment of benefits, so when you hire a clinician, PTOT speech, who's reassigning those benefits to the group, the only thing that they're going to be doing, they have to have their individual provider number. I know here it says optional. That's let me show you this. So optional is that little blue with the white line, meaning that they might already have their individual PTAN. If they don't, you need to get them their individual PTAN before you can hire them to work in your practice. But they need to do the reassignment of benefits. Now, an individual provider may reassign their benefits to your group, to another group down the street, and to 10 other groups. The reassignments can be to as many offices or clinics that that individual is working for, but they're reassigning their individual provider number to each of the different facilities. And one of the questions that came up was, well, if I'm working for an outpatient orthopedic, neuro, pediatric clinic, and I want to start a side gig, is that going to cause problems? No. You have your individual PTAN that currently is most likely reassigned to the business you're working for. You would submit your 855I with an update to the information. And then from there, when you submit a claim, and if you're going to go the route of individual sole proprietor, non-incorporated yet, what you're going to do is when you submit that claim, it's going to be your information in column J, and if you know the HIC or CMS 1500, you'll understand this. Column J under rendering provider, and then it'll be your information under box 33 and your personal MPI under box 33A. So that claim gets submitted to Medicare, the payment goes to you instead of going to your employer. When your employer submits a claim, it's the employer's information in box 33 and the employer's group MPI in box 33A. You are only listed on the claim as rendering provider when the claim is being submitted from your employer. So I hope that makes some sense. This is an amazing chart. I think it's super handy. Lots of great information here. I will post this in the video notes so you can link directly to it. And then they have some other resources on this website. But guys, you know, this is basically the three scenarios that we're looking at. We're looking at credentialing you individually as a sole proprietor without a corporation. Credentialing you individually as a sole proprietor with a corporation but not a group. And then looking at getting you credentialed as a group when you're looking at more than one owner of the practice or bringing in partners or any of that stuff. So these are your three scenarios. Post your questions, let me know, like the video, share the video. The more engagement we can get directly through YouTube, the more this channel will grow and the more clinicians we can reach outside of Facebook. So subscribe, ring the notification bell, guys. I appreciate the support. I'll catch you on the next video.